when the dogs leave.
Yeah, my dogs are going to the bathroom again.
And you're not
I wasn't
complaining.
invited.
We could. How long is he gone? We could.
He's got another couple days.
This is the Hiawatha City Council meeting for July 2nd, 2025. Call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Everybody, please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. Roll call, please.
Joe Weigel. Here. Rob Archibald.
Here.
Bill Bennett.
Here.
Ben Fidler.
Here.
Approval of the agenda. Need a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Number 5, approval of the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Number 6, citizens input. Is there anyone in the audience today that would like to speak on something that is not on the agenda? Anybody on the phone? Number 7, report from council members, city manager.
I think I say this every meeting, but I'm just super impressed with the progress being made on 380. It just looks so nice. So excited for it to be done. It's going to be such a great addition and getting on and off there. And then the work at Turtle Creek Park is looking good too with that DR Horton Trail opening up and then the sign. So lots of good construction projects going on around town. And then the Tucker Creek Park splash pad is also fantastic. Like, I mean, I didn't realize how cool splash pad could be.
Yes, and just to add to that, we just had the ribbon cutting yesterday for that. And it was nice to see it was well used. It was probably 10 or 15 kids there, a lot of adults. And then we noticed that the golf course runs alongside there to the east, and a couple of golf carts stopped. 4 gentlemen got out, started coming across the field, and the kids going, "Daddy, Daddy." So the golfers stopped and met their kids and their wives halfway across the field in Guthridge Park there and had a little get together while the dads took a break from the round of golf for a couple of minutes. At Tucker Park, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Anybody have anything else? All right. Number 8, we're going to consider a resolution approving funding request from the City of Cedar Rapids, City of Marion, and Cedar Rapids Metro Economic Alliance regarding a collaborative growth initiative and authorizing payment in an amount of $21,600 for 3 years. And Jody, would you like to speak?
Yep.
This is Jody Schaefer. She is the talent director.
Hi. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members, for having me today. I'm just going to run through a presentation just to make sure everybody is fully aware of what the Collaborative Growth Initiative is set to do, the plans for this year and for upcoming years. So this will just take a few minutes. So the Collaborative Growth Initiative, I'm sure it's been probably a few years since you really talked about it, but this was an initiative where the mayors of Marion, Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha came together and said population workforce is a challenge in the area. And the fact that the cities are actually collaborating on this is really impressive and means a lot when you go out to private business and try to fundraise for this initiative. So that'll be down the line, the fundraising from the private sector. But right now, to kick us off, we're asking the city to input money to do that. So, and if you wouldn't mind going back one slide, sorry. That if you look, we've lost 8,200 residents since 2021, and most of those residents are young professionals. So what that means in real terms is when people are retiring, we don't have the workforce to fill those retired spaces. So this is a pretty big challenge. I know nobody's surprised by this. Brain drain has been talked about in Iowa since I was a kid, and I'm sure you're all aware, but we are hitting an inflection point where if we don't start to not lose residents or not bring them back, we are going to have some real workforce challenges. So that's the why behind this. So the timeline for the Collaborative Growth Initiative, it started all the way back in August 2023 when the mayor said, we're going to move forward with DCI, a leading placemaking agency out of New York. They had them come out or said we are definitely working with them in March of 2024 and started the study. And basically they were looking at what is the perception of this area, both inside the area and outside of the area? What's the opportunity? How much is it going to cost? What kind of resources are needed? And they laid out a map for that, which was a wonderful start to where we're at today. Then, as part of that, in April 2024, the Economic Alliance said we will fund a position to manage this work, and that's where my position came in. I started in January of this year. I immediately started just meeting with lots and lots of people. As you can imagine, there's many people that are interested in this work, and we really wanted input from businesses, higher ed institutions, anybody that's related to workforce. And so we started a Workforce Innovation Council that met for the first time in April. They have since met twice as a council and a third time with the other innovation councils of the Economic Alliance. So that brought us to May. I started sending out requests for proposals for marketing agencies. We had about 15 national and local agencies vie for the work. And we selected an agency at the end of the month, and we're starting to kick that work off. Next. Thank you. So the work that we're looking at for this year, and if you read the DCI study, this is a little bit different than what they recommended. And there's a reason for that. So the mayors really wanted an approach, a marketing campaign that gave us results. Results are hard to show with this type of work. Many cities, regions are doing it, states are doing it, including the state of Iowa. And a lot of the metrics that are used are things like click-through rates, open rates. They're indicators of what's to come, but it's very difficult to say when somebody's actually moved. They have to tell you, and some of them don't tell you, you can't prove it. It's just hard to know that. So, but we heard that loud and clear, and we went forth and said, well, how can we prove that somebody's moved? So that's where this Make My Move, it's a remote job worker campaign that we're gonna try. It's a pilot program. We're gonna try this first year to move 15 households by the end of December. So the first piece is a talent attraction website and agency marketing campaign. So this is really a strategic marketing campaign to promote the area. This is kind of the traditional approach. And then the Make My Move is a non-traditional approach where we can actually see return on investment. I'll go into that in a minute. So the talent attraction website and marketing campaigns really, this is year one. It's really collateral development and branding of the region. So how do we tell our story? We haven't really taken in much time to tell our story as a community or even as individual cities. So that's what this will do. It will also launch the website, which employers are pretty excited about because they're going to be able to post their jobs, highlight opportunities, post their business to all this talent that's looking at us as a region. It also will have things like housing resources, anything somebody who's looking to move to the area is going to want to know about, and they don't have a central place to find it right now. So Make My Move is, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that since it's probably less familiar to everybody, but it has 1.5 million people visit each year. 22 million remote workers are in the US, and that's up from 5 million in 2020. Obviously that's a result of COVID, but it hasn't gone away. It's not at what it was before, obviously, but it hasn't gone away and probably won't go away. So this is a huge market opportunity for us, for individuals that have a job somewhere else. They might be working in Chicago or New York and they're sick of living in those areas. They want to live somewhere like this area and are moving here, bringing their job with them, contributing to the economy and to the tax base. So a couple of stats about Make My Move, because there are some concerns about what it is and whether or not, the biggest concern is will these people retain? And Make My Move has some pretty specific metrics they look at, and 90% of those that move actually retain within the first year. There are incentives involved in Make My Move, so part of the funding we're asking for will go towards a relocation incentive for these movers. And part of that incentive is paid up front when they move. They sign a lease, they sign an apartment agreement, housing agreement, mortgage, and that's when we know that they've moved. Make My Move also verifies employment, they verify income, so they know that these individuals are contributing to the economy. Actually, if you go back one, sorry. Many of these individuals bring a household, so they bring about 2.3 on average people with them. So you're looking at a spouse that may be working here in the community. You're looking at children that are probably, they are going to school in the area. You also have a household income of about $116,000, so a pretty significant income for a household moving to the area. And just to show some of the results, so this is what Indiana is doing is kind of an exemplar example of what could be done. So they have, basically the state of Indiana is funding Make My Move campaigns for several communities throughout Indiana. And what it's resulted in is about 1,600 new residents over the last 4 years. They have brought in $63.5 million in spending to the economy, as well as $7 million in tax income. So they're getting a lot of accolades for what they're doing in terms of talent attraction. So what this brings us to is how we fund it. As you can imagine, this is expensive work. It's expensive to market a region. And so we've taken a good look at what it'll take. Our numbers are based on what we saw from the marketing agencies, and I can go into those in the next slide. So in this slide, what you're seeing is the red is Cedar Rapids, the purple is the Economic Alliance, yellow is Marion, green is Hiawatha, and then blue is private business. So in the first year, you see that the cities and the Economic Alliance are really the entities funding this initiative. However, if you go back, that's okay. However, when you look at the end of 2025, you see that spike to private funding. So we'll be doing a fundraising initiative at the end of or really starting in a couple of months with private business. So that's where we hope to see the funding come from in future years. That doesn't mean that there won't be any city contribution. So I've dropped down the city contribution in year 2 by about to 60% and in year 3 to 40%. It is a best guess based on what we think we can fundraise. So that could change, it could go down, but I wanted to be conservative in the numbers. And the fact that the cities are putting funding in really makes the private business take a look because they see how serious the region is about funding this initiative. So the numbers for the 3 cities, so for the total number is 629,100. That includes staffing for the initiative. But for the marketing side of it, there's a funding need of $436,100. Cedar Rapids would contribute $327,500. Marion would contribute $87,000, and Hiawatha would contribute $21,600. This is based on per capita and TIF special revenue. It was something that the city managers and the mayors came together on and agreed was a fair thing to look at in terms of percentage of funding. So that's where those numbers came from. So this last slide is just showing you on a pie chart the overall funding for the initiative over the 3 years, actually over the 4 years. And what you're seeing is that the cities are putting in almost equal to what private business is putting in, but private business is putting in slightly more. And again, that could change. Private business might end up putting in a lot more than the cities, but that would be our best guess. And then the Economic Alliance is putting in a consistent amount throughout the year. So the Economic Alliance, what they fund is, again, salaries to manage this. And then also retention efforts. So as you can imagine, you can't just move somebody here and then not do the things to get them immersed in the community. So we'll be building out a welcome program. We already have some young professional retention programs, but we'll have to ramp those up even more. And so those are the things that the Economic Alliance will cover. And so really we're at next steps, and that is to gain approval for the funding from the cities. And then we are looking at hopefully gaining some earned media. So we want to get the word out about the initiative. And I know Grace from the Gazette is back there, and she just did a piece on the initiative. So it's already happening, and we're glad to see that. And then we are going to go out and do a fundraising campaign. So the mayors, myself, will be out, talking to businesses. So thank you. I'd be happy to take any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
No, I think this is a great initiative, and I'm super happy to see it moving forward. I think it's gonna have great benefits to everybody. I'm a big believer, what's good for Hiawatha is good for the corridor, what's good for the corridor is good for Hiawatha, so
Yep.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we're glad you're involved. Thank you.
Are there any concerns based off of the DCI had a significantly larger budget projection than what we're going after? Is there any concerns about what was removing effectiveness?
Yeah, so I think that the DCI study, and Doug is here with me, he can also speak to this, but what I heard when I started was that everybody felt the DCI budget was very inflated. I really believe it's based on New York costs. And we got a bid from DCI. They were by far the highest. They were beyond what we could pay. If we had put those numbers up here, we'd be probably asking for another, $20,000 from you all. So that just wasn't feasible. And what we gave up on was, they did have a community kind of branding initiative for internal to the community to get people excited, which I think is great, but it was a lot more money, and that's the piece we sort of set aside. We'll be doing some of that, but it got set aside. And then, of course, the costs were very different. So one example I would give you is they do videos, they're gonna cost $50,000 to $60,000. We do them here in the community, they're gonna cost $10,000 to $20,000. So that's just one example, but that was all over that budget. Yep.
Okay, anybody else?
I just want to say that Tiffany, it took a long time for her to talk me into this project because of the expense, but prove me wrong and let's make it happen.
Yeah, well, that's the goal, and I
Yep.
appreciate
Yep.
that they want to see some real measurable metrics. I
Yep.
want to see that too.
Yep.
It's not easy to do that,
No, I
but
know.
hopefully we found something with Make My Move that'll give us some tangible benefits, and we can go and do job campaigns with them too. So if that works on a pilot program, we might, shift our
Right.
strategy and go more with
Absolutely.
them. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you for
Joe.
coming out.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Rob Archibald,
Aye.
Bill Bennett,
Aye.
Ben Fidler,
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Number 9, Hiawatha Urban Renewal Plan. A, consider resolution approving and authorizing execution of a First Amendment to the Agreement for Private Development by and among the City of Hiawatha, Warrior Enterprises, LLC, and McGrath Automotive Group, Inc., doing business as McGrath Hyundai of Cedar Rapids. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This is one, I had an opportunity to actually shoot a video interview with Lindsay McGrath a couple weeks ago about the city and doing business with the city. And one of the things she said was effectively that the city wants to pull on the same end of the road, right? And help pull projects along, move things along. To me, this is a great example of that, where, we select vendors that think like us. They immediately catch an error, quickly make corrective actions. We quickly get into the meeting agenda so we can move forward, make the difference and help make sure that we continue to be a favorable place for business. So nice work to the city staff.
Roll call, please.
Bill Bennett,
Aye.
Ben Fidler,
Aye.
Joe Weigel,
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Number 10, consider resolution authorizing certification to the county treasurer office for collection of delinquent account of snow removal and branch removal services performed by the City of Hiawatha for 400 North Center Point Road. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Number 11, consider resolution setting a public hearing date, July 16th, 2025 at 5:30 PM on the status of funded activities for the Hiawatha generator project. Need a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Aye.
Ben Fidler.
Number 12, consider resolution approving and making award of contract for the 2025 tree planting project. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? There's a lot of trees that's going to be planted with that. Roll call, please.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Aye.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Number 13, consider resolution approving the assigned amendment number 1 with Shive Hennery for Boyson Road to Hawkeye Drive to Robbins Road project. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Bill Bennett.
Aye.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Number 14, consider resolution approving and making award of contract for the sidewalk maintenance program project. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Number 15, consider resolution approving final plat Remington Second Edition, Lynn County, Iowa. Need a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? Well, this is the land up by Toddville, correct? That they want to subdivide their lot, and since they don't have anybody for jurisdiction, they contacted us. We're the closest, I guess, jurisdiction. Okay. Good neighbors. Roll call, please.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Aye.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Number 16, consider resolution approving the site plan and building materials for a commercial building located at 111 Miller Road. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Aye.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Number 17, consider resolution approving change order number 2 for Tucker Park Splash Pad project. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Bill Bennett.
Aye.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Number 18, consider resolution approving a 3-year contract renewal with Enceba. Need a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ben Fidler.
Aye.
Joe Weigel.
Aye.
Rob Archibald.
Aye.
Bill Bennett.
Number 19, placement of items for next agenda or work session, which is coming up July 21st.
Back on item 16, I said it in my head, but I didn't say it out loud. I think it's cool to see, one, a Hiawatha business expanding, and two, fronting the new Edgewood Road. And I know they've been wanting to do that for quite a while, so that's gonna be really cool to see that. So, I mean, you would think you drive up that new road and you just see the backs of businesses, but now you're gonna see the fronts.
During the open house, they actually came and they had already been beginning plans to do this as soon as we announced that we're moving forward with the project.
It's good to see Emmons Road opened up now through there, so.
Sorry, I'm
No, that's
backtracking.
fine.
My
No.
brain wasn't moving as fast as yours.
I agree. Yep.
Okay, number 19, placement of items for next agenda or work session. Does anybody else have anything?
I think we got a lot already.
Yeah. Okay, number 20, is there a motion to adjourn, Bill?
Yep, I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'm gonna go
All in
hang out in the splash
Favor,
pad.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 5:54.
I hope everybody has a safe and happy 4th of July.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's great.
thanks for them, the community changing their ideas on the hours and stuff. It's like, let's narrow this down to a response on the fireworks deal.